Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and this is a regular meeting of the Allendale Land Use Board, at which formal action will be taken on the items listed on the agenda and upon any other matters which may properly come before the Land Use Board. The requirements of Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied through posting on the public bulletin board in the municipal building, on the borough website, and by publication in the Record on January 31, 2022. Copies being sent to the Ridgewood News. Certain agenda items will be open to the public for comment or testimony, and the board will advise the public when such matters are open for comment or testimony. Would you rise and join me in a salute to the flag, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a roll call attendance, please.
Board Member Bergen is absent. Secretary Delavatio.
Here.
Board Member Davis.
Here.
Board Member Kistner.
Here.
Councilman Lovasolo.
Here.
Board Member Yakarino.
Here.
Vice Chairman Sirico.
Here.
Mayor Bernstein is absent. Chairman Quinn.
Here.
Alternate Forbes.
Here.
And alternate Petrino is absent.
Okay, thank you. Next matter is the approval of the minutes from January 19, 2022, which was our initial meeting for the year. There were a couple of comments that I made. Anybody else have comments on the meeting, on the minutes? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second, Kistner.
We have a second. Any discussion? If not, we'll go to a roll call.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Thanks, Joe. Sorry, I didn't recognize you there.
Sorry, should have said my name.
Secretary Delavatio.
Yes.
Board Member Davis.
Yes.
Board Member Kistner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Board Member Yakarino.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sirico.
Yes.
Chairman Quinn.
Yes.
Alternate Forbes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the meeting's carried. And all approved. Okay, we have two matters on the public hearings this evening. I'm assuming the crowd is here for what was scheduled to be the second one. Is that correct? You can just nod, so I'm assuming that is the case. And we got notice from council that they may have a comment and may not want to proceed this evening, so we're going to ask him to come up and talk about that first, so then we don't tie you guys up sitting here. So that's kind of my modus operandi for this one.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Kevin Kelly. I'm an attorney with the firm of Kelly, Murata and Tuckman in Maywood. I'm here on behalf of ABC Vault Partners LLC, which is the applicant in this matter. There's a matter where we're seeking a 6-unit apartment building. I have submitted our proofs of publication and service for the last meeting, which was unfortunately canceled due to the COVID emergency. Ms. Garofalo has that. Or Garofalo or Garofalo?
Depends if you're Italian or American.
Kelly is an Italian.
Why don't you direct me? Mr. Garofalo?
That's fine.
Okay. In any event, I've submitted the proofs of service for the last meeting, and the board, as you're aware, carried it for the night.
Right.
We've met with our design professionals to review the Van Cleef engineering review letter, as well as Mr. Schnenkis's planner's report, and we would like the opportunity to try address some of the concerns that they had there. Unfortunately, we can't do it this evening. So what we would like to do is, with the board's permission, carry this to the next available meeting, so we can try and make the plan.
Excuse me,
consistent.
could you speak louder? I'm partially deaf.
I apologize. I
No,
tried
don't
to-
apologize.
Yes, no,
Just please speak.
just not continue. But what I'd like to do is carry it to your next available meeting, so we can try to address some of the concerns that were raised.
Okay.
Mr. Kelly, will you be submitting revised plans or
I believe so,
reports?
yes, I mean, we've had a discussion with my planner, as well as the architect and the engineer.
All right, very good. They just, wherever we carry the two, has to be submitted 10 days before the reports and revised plans, so that they can be made available to the public.
Understood.
As well as the board and the board's professionals
We will do so.
as soon as possible. So that would be helpful.
And Chairman, I believe that these plans are also posted on the borough website, so we'll probably want to.
These were, and we will, obviously will, anything else we're gonna present. we're
We'll
going
do
to
that as well.
post, so everybody's aware.
Okay. So the next, I guess, brief discussion is when can we do it next? We already have 3 matters for March, the Wednesday in March, so we may be talking about the Monday in March, which
Linda, what's,
March 14th.
would be March 14th?
and right now you'd probably be the only matter on the agenda for that night,
We'll-
so
we'll
that
make
makes some
ourselves available.
sense, especially given the neighboring participation.
Yes.
Do you think you'll be able to do it within a month?
Well, I know I can, but in engineer time and in planner time, I don't know, but we'll do our best to endeavor. And if we don't, we'll certainly address this beforehand, so we're not surprising. them.
Is that okay with the board members and its professionals? We can do that night for all those here, and then,
Monday, the 14th, correct?
and since that's a D variance, there are some different voting rules and certain people are not eligible to vote on this matter. And Chris will explain all that at the actual meeting, but just to let people know. So the mayor and I think Suzanne, the council member reps, will not be able to vote.
Correct. So there'll still be a full board, but just those individuals will not be voting members of the board and will be recused for the application.
I understand. And we would just ask if we could carry it without the need for further publication or notice.
Yes, so we'll make the announcement as we did at the last meeting that this application will be carried till March 14th. No new notice will be provided in the newspaper or published. Obviously, it will be in our agenda for the March 14th meeting, but the applicant is not required to make any new notices to the public or to publication in the newspaper. We would request, if I don't think we've actually started, so we don't need an extension of time, but I'm sure you would grant one. if
But we're
we
at
require.
the adjournment, so to the extent we haven't presented anything, but if this is deemed to be a start date, we consent to extending it.
Right.
Because this is being done at our request and with our thanks.
Very good.
Okay. And if you could please get the new revised plans in as soon as you can, ahead of that meeting, both for the board, the professionals and the public.
I will beat the engineer and architect. and go comply. As best I can.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. and your
Thank you.
consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there are members of the public who don't want to sit through the next variance request, if you'd leave quietly, we'd appreciate it. If not, you're welcome to stay. We appreciate an audience.
Yeah, I think they're accepting our offer.
Next time we'll have beverages. Refreshments.
Yeah, I don't want to
Quick
say
night.
no,
There you
but.
It's great to see you.
It is. I'm sorry.
Take it up to my wife.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Been nice to-
We still have time.
You can
Make sure you
stop-
go straight home, Ed.
You can stop over at the florist and make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
For the
We
new
appreciate
board
you
members?
guys.
Yeah, tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. And just ask that, when we do get the new plans, you guys obviously look them over and comment accordingly.
Certainly. Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care.
Thank you, you too. Ed. Okay. The next matter on the agenda is for public hearing is application at Land Use Board 2022-01, Paul Sprunk, 78 Hamilton Street, block 1005, lot 12. This is for, I believe, a side yard variance, but are the Sprunks here? Would you please come up? You can sit. Hopefully we can pull the
Stand if you want.
microphone close to you so we can get you on the recording.
I want to tell you, I'm grateful that you emptied this room out because I was afraid those were all my disgruntled neighbors. So thank you.
Okay. I'll ask Chris to validate the
Sure.
the notices?
Mr. Chairman, I have reviewed the publication, notice of publication and the notices to the residents within 200 feet. This was originally noticed for the December meeting, which was carried by the board as well as the January meeting. I'm sorry, it was originally scheduled for the January meeting, noticed for the January meeting. Publication was made. The board, due to the health emergency, decided not to hear the meeting, on the January 19th meeting. At the January 19th meeting, I did make an announcement to the public that the notice was proper and that it would be carried and that there was no new notice necessary by Mr. Sprunk. So after saying all that and running it in circles, which I did, I can tell you that the application is ready to proceed tonight because we have jurisdiction based upon notice provided.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Okay. We have the plans in front of us, but it always helps for the applicant or their professionals. Looks like it's the applicant
It is.
to tell us exactly what you want to do and why you're doing it and what the hardship is. This is a hardship variance, right? It's a C variance.
I mean, the hardship in terms of asking for the variance or?
Yeah, the hardship that basically, yeah, for asking for the variance. Yes.
And I'm just going to ask you to raise your
Yeah,
right
you
hand
can-
and
Oh,
be sworn in.
Sorry.
Testimony. So do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the course of this application?
I do.
All right, thank you. And name and address for the record.
Paul Sprunk, 78 Hamilton Street, Allendale, New Jersey.
Thank you.
So you want me to explain what I'm trying to do?
Mhm.
Okay. I live at the end of a cul-de-sac. My house backs up to the railroad. Directly behind me is the railroads, and to the left is that industrial park. I don't know what it's called, whatever, but isn't that where you're moving the town hall at some point, or?
Yes.
Okay. And I have the people previous to me built a two-car garage to the left of the house. And my house does not have a true master bedroom, meaning a bedroom with its own bath. And I just think for me living there and for resale, that's important. And that's what I'm trying to do, is put a master bath over the existing garage. And I believe the issue is when the garage was built previously to me, they had gone a couple inches, couple feet too far in the back left corner, I believe. I think that's the issue here tonight.
Oh, over the side yard setback,
sir.
essentially. So you're having an existing non-conformity and you want to build on top of it, basically, is that?
Yes. Simple
You're not
terms.
pushing it out any further. You're going over the
Yeah, I'm not doing any
existing.
structural stuff on the ground. It's strictly above the existing garage, and it's a two-car garage.
Okay. And the hardship here is because why? Is it because you're on the cul-de-sac? It seems like a sort of angular piece of property, shall I
Yes,
say?
it's a kind of an unusual piece of property. It is angled. But like I said, where the issue we're talking about, we're talking about, wooded area that's between me and the railroad, and a small wooded area between me and the industrial park there.
Okay, and do you have a neighbor to your left?
I have a neighbor on either side of me, yes, but
Okay.
I'm kind of set back, if you will. Well, I don't want to picture that again. Well, maybe I do.
I'm looking at your,
You have these photographs?
yes, we do.
Okay. This is a little intimidating. I feel like my case has finally reached the Supreme Court here, so
We'll try not to be intimidating.
no, you're not.
Scary.
We'll let you sit.
What's that?
We'll let you sit.
Okay, that's true. Okay. Thank you for that.
I have the pictures and I actually drove over there to look for myself.
So you have an irregular shaped piece of property. Your house is offset on that irregular shaped piece of
Yeah,
property, correct?
it's almost like a pie shape is my actual property line. You've got the survey there, I'm sure.
Right. And the house itself sits on an angle.
A little bit, yeah.
I guess maybe because it's facing more on the cul-de-sac, the curved cul-de-sac, than square to the property.
And my plans do, I'm sorry,
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
my plans do include a new roof and new siding. So it's going to look really nice for all the other neighbors who live in Allendale, and your property value will go up, I'm sure.
So lot 25 is a private, that's a residence, lot 25.
I'm having trouble hearing, I'm sorry.
Sorry, lot 25 to the left is a residence, is that correct?
Yeah, I have residents
Okay.
either side, but yeah.
So the industrial park is kind of behind
Yeah,
you?
so if you're facing my house, you're talking about the house to the left?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that house faces the industrial park, yes.
Okay, it's not right on there. Okay.
Yeah, so there is a neighbor to the left
Yeah.
that would be impacted because you're close to his property line, essentially.
He would be the closest that would be
Right.
affected by it, if you will, yeah.
And you're looking to go above the garage, basically, as I see on the plan. Could you tell us about that? Exactly what you're looking to do above the garage?
Yeah, it's, your typical bedroom, full bath, and also gonna move the laundry room upstairs.
Okay.
I think this street, I think every house on this particular street I live on originally had the same house built. And over the years, people have changed them, but a few people have done exactly what I'm trying to do as well.
Okay. Is it a split level or is it a raised ranch?
I guess it's a split level. When you walk in the house, you either have to go up a flight of stairs or down one. Is that-
Range,
that's-
yeah.
It's a raised ranch.
Range, same
What
thing.
is it called?
A raised ranch or a bi-level?
By level,
Okay.
yeah, that's the other word. Okay.
I'm gonna use that when I sell the place. That's a good description. Sounds more
I
expensive.
used to know, I had friends who recently sold on that street,
Oh,
so,
dear, okay.
and they had a bi-level, I remember visiting.
Okay.
All right, so variance wise, and the justification is in a C variance, you have to either justify because the property has some unique characteristics that cause the variance or relate to the variance, or the C2 variance, it's a C1. The C2 is the benefits outweigh the detriments. The benefits to the community outweigh the
I
detriments.
get it.
So I'm assuming you're looking for a C1, which is typically called a hardship variance because of your property shape and the way your house sits on the property and the way the cul-de-sac affects your
Correct.
property. I just want to make sure that gets on the record in terms of the reason for the variance request. Okay, and do we know what the dimensions are that, or the amount of the variance that may be in this table? But can you talk to that at all? How many feet over you are?
I thought it was only, 12 to 24 inches we were talking about. I may be even correct on that. Because when it first came up, my architect was willing to build up, but not use that 24-inch space in that back left corner. But
Okay.
that didn't satisfy the building code here.
Okay.
I just have, I don't know if it's pertinent, but was my garage built illegally or did the zoning laws change, or is that a fair
Sorry.
question asked?
It's a fair question to ask, but I have no idea because I've been on this board now 15 years at least, and this property's never come before me for it when I was on this board, but
Okay.
I don't know when that garage addition was put on.
I don't know either, so.
It would have been impacted by whatever the zoning code was at that time. So it could have been that they came in and got a variance too. I don't know that history.
So if they got a variance for that, that wouldn't allow you to build up above it without
Nope.
another?
No, that causes a separate
Separate variance.
separate request. You have to come in and the board has to
Got it.
decide
Okay.
whether that's appropriate or not. Because you're building over, as I said before, an existing nonconformity. And that requires a variance in our ordinances. I'll ask Mike, do you have some comments on this one? So
I mean, to your specific.
our
question
engineer,
About, the magnitude of the variance.
Right.
The existing dwelling encroaches a little bit less than 7.5 feet into the required 16.8 foot side yard setback. And then the addition is going to trigger the enhanced.
yeah,
side
that's
yard
what I thought,
setback.
yeah.
So now the setback requirement becomes 19.04 feet. But there's no further, the building's not gonna be any closer to the sideline. It's the enhanced side yard setback that is
That means it encroaches by how much?
9.74.
No, it goes up, yeah.
It goes up roughly a little over 2 feet.
But
for the enhanced side yard setback.
Right.
And by side, Michael, is that like that back corner, like
It's such an odd lot. but
It's the angled piece
Off the back of the garage.
well, on the side of the garage.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
That side yard line doesn't come all the way up to the right way. It's an unusual configuration. And that side yard, to answer Patty's question, that may be common to the municipally owned piece of property. Looking at the tax map.
Yeah, I couldn't tell from this, but when I drove by, it looked like it was a neighbor's house, but he was saying he backed up to the industrial park, so I was trying to figure out if.
Yeah, I
there's-
think if you look at the cover sheet on the plan, the neighboring property is also kind of an unusual shaped piece of property.
Yeah.
And, you have that piece, that line that comes off of the cul-de-sac in Hamilton, I think that separates him and his one neighbor, and then the
Oh,
municipal
yeah, I
piece
see
kind of
what you're saying.
jogs out in the
Right.
back behind this property. But I think there's definitely a unique geometry to the
Yeah.
existing piece of property. I think kind of what complicates it a little bit too is the location of the house and the property, the fact that it's so close to the
It's,
cul-de-sac.
and yeah, it's skewed a bit.
And it's
And
skewed to the
it's
left.
turned a little bit, to the, it's not perpendicular to the sidewalk. Like you mentioned before, Mr. Chairman, it's kind of twisted towards the geometry curve. So, it would seem that, I think a hardship variance would be more appropriate versus.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking that too.
I can't really come up with any reasons how we would promote, the goal of municipal land. Uniqueness of the piece of
Right. And the house, the residence on lot 25 to the left is not close to the property line on their side either, so it's. So I'm just trying to think of what the visual impact would be to the neighbor to the left.
I don't know if there would be much,
Yeah, that's,
because his house isn't in direct view of looking at the front of the neighbor's house. It's kind of skewed off to the side.
Yeah.
And there's some heavy vegetation there too.
Yeah.
is that the vegetation on your property, Mr. Sprunk? Some of it, or,
Well, not only my property, but the common ground. Yeah, lots and lots of trees and so forth there.
yeah, any plans to take those down on your property?
No.
Because it's a buffer, and that's what we
Oh,
like
no,
to
it's a
see
buffer for
buffers.
sound with the train and for,
Right.
I don't really, no offense to your location for town hall here, but I'd rather not be looking at that. So the trees will stay there to,
Okay,
like you said, have a block thing there.
And the fence is your neighbor's, right? The fence is your neighbor's. It's your neighbor's fence or your fence?
You're looking at,
To the left of your property.
yeah, well, there's a fence, there's two fences, a fence that separates me and the commercial space.
Okay.
And is that, you talking about that picket fence?
Yeah.
That's probably my fence.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because that's where I was looking at the vegetation.
Yeah.
How long have you lived here?
I moved in there a couple days before the Sandy storm in 2012, so.
Did the people you bought it from, did they say anything about an existing variance or anything like that? That was,
They
they had any
did,
issues or anything like that?
they did, I never met the couple, quite frankly. They sold it to a real estate agent, so there was never any discussion about that, so.
Okay. I mean, I could speak from experience. I had a similar, my lot is kind of skewed and I did an addition above my garage and I had to go through the same process. The only thing which is nice about you is I had to go to Ramsey to do it. And that was a whole,
The guys in Allendale are nicer.
I can't because of a conflict of interest, but
Oh, right, right.
so we couldn't hear his
so
application.
part
and
of,
his test.
part of the issue is, as an applicant, like you have the burden to convince us why we should give you the variance. That's why Mr. Chairman was asking you about, explain everything.
sure,
It's a
yeah.
hardship. Like I can tell you from experience that those people made me explain everything. And it's a little bit unsettling, but it is the burden of the applicant to kind of convince us that there's nothing else you could do, or there's no other options, or that's the best place to put it, or the lot skewed, or that's kind of why he was
So you're-
asking all
you're-
that.
So you're saying I haven't done that, or I haven't?
No, you have, but I just
Oh.
wanted to explain why he
Oh,
was
oh,
asking
okay.
that. So
Yeah.
you could put it on the record to explain that that's why it was like that.
Okay.
And Mike, to your way of thinking or your report, is there any visual detriment to the street side view?
I I really don't think so. I mean, I assume there's not gonna be, are you planning on putting in exterior lights or floodlights or anything up on the?
No, I did.
And as far as the, the finishes, it's gonna be finished in similar color and material as the rest of the house is existing?
Yeah, as I said, I'm gonna, because I'm taking a big chunk of the siding off and the roof, and they both need to be replaced. So I'm replacing both the, in very neutral colors, the siding and the roof.
And it'll be uniform neutral.
Yes.
And I guess the other thing I wanted to point out to, to the board, this is addition that's going on above the garage.
Right.
An alternative is to try to come and convert the garage to living space. But, the ordinance has a requirement, that, each residential house.
You gotta have a
require
garage.
that. So I think, this is probably a better alternative versus eliminating the garage.
Which we likely not approve, given the history of several
Right.
other homes where,
But an alternative that the applicant could consider.
yeah, okay, I see. All right. Questions from the, other questions from the board? I'll open it up to the public. Any members of the public wish to comment on this application, particularly those who are on either side of you? Hearing and seeing none, nothing on the web. Okay, I'll bring it back to the board. So,
I just have a minor comments.
go ahead.
On the plans, I noticed that there's what appears to be just a uniform driveway going out, yet in the pictures and in going past your home, there's another driveway kind of to the left.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like.
An extension of the
Yeah, an
driveway.
extension of it. Kevin, if I may.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
Like
Like
you see that in the picture.
right here.
Yeah, I've got-
Whoever
I can see it in my picture. No?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So whoever drew your plans, they're not depicting your driveway the way it currently is.
They did not, you're saying?
They're not depicting the driveway.
Oh,
It
okay.
looks
way
like
it
it's a
currently
straight
is,
run
yeah.
from the garage,
Okay.
right?
It almost looks like you could go 3 across, where I'm interpreting what's here is only having 2 across. It's a minor
Okay,
thing, but
all
it's
right.
something
I
that should
didn't
be
realize that. All right.
remedied on the plans,
Okay.
That's a good point for the record.
for the record.
Yeah, to have the architect correct it.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm looking at the survey here. It's a relatively old survey,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
so that, probably reflected conditions a number of years ago.
Mhm.
But to have it in the record, I think that's a good point.
Thank you.
So you're saying future pictures or drawings should include the driveway?
They should
the
include,
extent, the extension of your driveway to the left.
Like a parking spot. yeah, to the
Essentially,
left
it's a
of your
parking
driveway.
spot.
which then that goes impervious coverage closer to the property line.
Right.
All of that.
That may have,
Okay.
that may have thrown a variance request too, because that happened to me. I have split
Okay.
level. I tried to add on to my side of my driveway so I could park another car there. I have a single car garage. And it was too close to the neighbor and I had to go through a variance. I was
Oh,
sitting
wow.
in your seat many moons ago.
But in this particular case, because it's existing, I think it would be in your best interest to have it on a record set of
Right.
plans to document that. If it's not something that you're proposing to change, then
Or-
that's the condition. That's
Right.
Okay.
How would we do that, Mike?
I think the
Could have the architect?
architect revises the lower site plan.
Ask the applicant if you would agree to do that as, maybe as a condition of approval. Just have them
Sure.
change it for the record that it shows that little extra jut out to the left on your driveway.
So you want to see a plan or drawing or?
We don't have to see it. We'll take it, right, Chris?
Could you do that as an as-built after or do it before?
I mean, we could do it that way too. I mean, I don't know if, because he really wasn't expanding the footprint of the building, we're not gonna be asking for an as-built way things done.
Okay.
I mean, we could do it that way. We could take an as-built, that confirm that the building hasn't expanded and also show the location of the existing driveway.
I guess just, do you want to do it, want to have them do it before or after the addition's done?
I don't really have a preference. We have photographs of it now.
Huh?
I'd offer maybe to the applicant to see which way he would prefer.
I'm not following you guys. I'm sorry.
So the option would be that you could have your architect revise his plans that he's going to submit to the building department
For the building permits?
for the permits.
Okay.
To reflect that little parking area.
Okay,
I think that's probably the better way to do it.
Yeah, that
I
way,
was
that
just
way
kind
you
of
can,
throwing
you
it
can
out.
have it on the drawing
Yeah.
and they can correct the zone table. And then that'll be the record set that goes with construction.
Okay.
So
That's
I
fair.
can put that in the
Key
resolution.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be a condition.
and that drawing would be submitted with the building permits or when the building permits are,
Right, I mean, it'll be the package that goes to Anthony, the construction code official. And I mean, I would imagine it's gonna include, the construction details required to put the addition on, in addition to this cover sheet of the plans that the architect will put together.
okay,
With a revision on the table to account for the actual configuration of the driveway. The actual configuration of the driveway shown schematically.
okay.
So really is the cover sheet? Pretty much. Because the rest of the drawings depict the house and the structure of the house. Any other questions from the board? Not, we'll move to a vote. Do we have anybody who'd like to propose a resolution for approval?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Tyler. Okay, discussion on the motion. What are the contingencies, Chris?
Just the only, the standard conditions would be, to comply with all other, borough ordinances and requirements for escrows and permit fees. And also that the architect should revise plans to include actual configuration of existing driveway. Those are the only two.
Okay, and those would be conditioned of the resolution and approval. Okay. All right, no any discussion, further discussion? If not, we'll move to a vote.
Secretary Delavatio,
Yes.
Board Member Davis,
Yes.
Board Member Kistner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Board Member Yakarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sirico,
Yes.
Chairman Quinn,
Yes.
alternate Forbes.
Yes.
Okay, you're approved.
All right.
All right,
Now,
thank you very much.
there is the caveat and
And I did promise the mayor, even though he's not here, that I would make an accommodation for you and make every effort to get the resolution prepared for Wednesday.
It's very kind.
So I will make that effort. And it'll probably be presented to the board on Wednesday.
Should I-
For
Do I
approval.
do I need to be here for
You
that?
don't need to be here for that.
I don't, okay.
You can pick it up, you can call the building department, by Thursday or Friday, and you should be able to pick up the resolution.
That's very kind. I do want to also apologize to all of you. You all saw me on the Zoom call last month. And you understand, there's really no excuse for my action. I was just very frustrated and I got a little hot-headed, as well as you, Chris, on the telephone. So I do apologize for that. I'm usually a level-headed, nice guy.
The lady behind you shaking her head no.
See, I brought her along as support, not she's shaking her head. This is her Valentine's Day dinner dance here. So.
All the best places. Yeah, we're getting you out of here early, so you can still go to dinner.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
we've all been there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. And good luck.
Yes.
Okay. No other public hearing matters. I'll open to the public. Any comments from any of the public on here or in the? None, I'll close it, bring it back to the board. I had couple of thoughts. One was that Park Avenue property that's next to Memorial Park. They're rebuilding the house. They tore it down. The barn is still standing, but and I believe the barn is to come down. And it may be just that they're storing some things in there, but
That was my understanding, part of the approval. that the board-
yeah, it was the house, the garage and the barn were all to come down because that essentially sits on Mallinson. And so I just want to make sure that that barn gets taken down as part of this.
Mr. Chairman, it's also going to be given to Mike Limatola as a property maintenance issue.
Okay.
It's,
I don't want to see it still standing.
No, it's close to a property maintenance.
Yeah, and it's in not, it's in deplorable condition, like the house was, I suppose. All right, so that was just one thing I noticed, and I just wanted to bring that up. And anything else, I was gonna ask Chris, Park and Ivy, any updates? Were we still in the same
Yep.
holding pattern we were?
No, really, we're in the briefing stage and
Okay.
the applicant's brief is due Friday. They have to serve it on me by, and then I have a month to respond.
Okay.
And then they have another 2 weeks to put a reply in, and then the hearing, I believe, is April 22nd.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
Thank you for that. Suzanne, anything from the land use committee potentially?
We are going to meet Wednesday morning for our
Okay.
second meeting. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but our 5G attorney spoke in front of council the other night just to explain his role in helping us to craft an ordinance once 5G is ready to make its way into Allendale. So we're kind of being proactive and making sure that when it comes, we're ready for it, and we will have everything in place to, you know, keep the towers. They're not unsightly, but make sure there's no neon lettering on them and, you know, things like that. So, so we're being proactive in that. I think we're a few years away from that coming to Allendale, but you know, we're getting ready for it.
And that is what, small sort of rectangular boxes on top of telephone poles, or are they on top? Okay,
Could be.
so scattered
Could be.
throughout.
Small network facilities rather than big.
Okay, and that's what, generally to increase the coverage?
I guess that's the way.
5G essentially allows for greater capacity and speeds in a nutshell.
Okay.
And all our electric cars zooming around, you know,
Yes.
and self-driving cars will all be.
Is that part of that control? Is it real? Okay, I didn't realize it was tied into sort of that network, if you will. Okay. Thank you. And we have a full agenda for Wednesday. I think we have 3 items on there, so. And they're also around garages, I think, for the most part. One's, I think they're all around garages?
I don't remember exactly. There's been so many of these.
Yeah.
applications, But they're all, you know, relatively small.
Yeah.
Any comments about water? No.
Well, I mean, it won't be long before the I guess the board gets actively involved in the water system. You know, we're working through some of the details with Suez on the contract. And, you know, we're getting into some of the technical issues with regard to, you know, easements and land use. And there's been a request by the applicant to take a look at zoning and permitted uses and maybe merging a couple lots together for common ownership. So as we work closer to that, you know, I think there'll be some involvement with the board. This home who chairs the water and sewer subcommittee has reached out to Ed to have some initial discussions and get some of his ideas on how to make some.
Is that because Suez needs more easements, or is it what's?
No, it's an ownership thing. The system being owned by a
Oh,
municipality.
yeah, okay.
Exempt from zoning, and now it becomes a private entity that owns a utility that has different ramifications.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Not that any of the uses are, you know, contemplated to change, just it's really an ownership.
And defining water usage. What that means.
There's a couple different avenues. We could look at zoning, we could look at maybe conditional uses with certain conditions. But we've asked them to give us some information on, you know, what they would consider a water use.
Okay.
At least, you know, as a start.
Does any of this stuff put this contract in jeopardy?
Not
So it's okay that it's being discussed?
yes.
Okay.
And I've had some preliminary discussions with Ray Wiss, the borough attorney, about looping the board in at the appropriate time when that happens. So I'll make sure that happens.
I mean, we're trying to, you know, keep you apprised of what's going on, but we don't want to keep throwing changes at the board to consider if we don't know exactly which direction we're going.
There are several meetings this week.
And last week.
The week before.
I'm gonna go out on a limb
They're
and say you're having them
ongoing
next week too.
meetings. Ongoing meeting.
They're doing a great job.
And if, I guess if the mayor's here, he can sort of chime in on, I'll ask him on Wednesday if he's coming about the Borough Hall property.
Yeah, I couldn't get you.
That thing's going on. He did update us the last meeting, so that'll probably be a continuing theme. That is there any movement to starting that project or whatever?
I have no idea.
Any thoughts on anything going on with Walgreens? No, Walgreens is supposed to be bailing. Has anybody said anything?
Well, we have, hopefully have discussions with the owner of the property, by the end of the week. We're just very busy right now with the water. Councilman Malinsky's got, we're meeting her a call together, speak to the owner.
I'm assuming that was a corporate decision by Walgreens to pull out.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's what, the 22nd of this month, I think, is the last day, so. Okay. All right, then nothing else. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Delavatio.
Second, Kistner.
All right, any discussion? If not,
See you on
all
Wednesday.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. See you Wednesday.
Working at the house today, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is
I
a long
know.
time
I
today.
think the
Yeah.